Manchester United nil, Manchester City nil. And what can I say? It was a boring game. It was a game of a few chances, but both sides I think came up and they were pretty happy to go with a draw. No side really I felt like as if properly deserved the win, although Manchester United did have the higher of the XG. In terms of the lineup, let's speak a little bit about that. The only change from my lineup was that Casemiro started ahead of Mount. I had Mason Mount, Garnacho and Højlund starting in the front three positions, but Ruben Amorim fielded Bruno, Garnacho and Højlund with a double pivot of Ugarte and Casemiro. Whereas I would have had Ugarte and Bruno in the double pivot with Mount up top. And then basically the same back three with Onana, Euro, Maguire, Mazraoui. And making up the back three. Dalot, Ugarte, Casemiro, Dogu. Bruno, Garnacho and Højlund making up a Ruben Amorim starting 11. So Manchester United did start lively. We had a decent chance really on in the first minute. Højlund sweeping first time pass in midfield releases Garnacho, who drives towards the edge of the penalty area behind the City defence before going over under a clumsy challenge from Diaz, who picks up a yellow card just 60 seconds into the derby. So that was really a chance that we had. But in terms of the opening 10 minutes though, City did have the majority of the possession and Manchester United sat back in a 5-4-1 out of possession. So Foden does have a chance in the 10th minute as well. He cuts inside from the right, winning a step ahead of Dogu before dragging a low shot near the post from 18 yards out underneath the foot of Euro. Onana is forced into a dive to cover his angles, but the ball rolls just wide of the target. Garnacho then has a chance in the 20th minute. Dalot scoops an inviting cross to the edge of the 6-yard box, putting the ball just over the head of the leaping Ugarte. Fortunately for the host, Garnacho is there to follow up at the back post, but he gets his stooping header all wrong. Despite being unmarked, which gives Diaz the chance to clear. Dogu then has a chance. United break on the counter. Dalot crosses it to Dogu, whose first touch lets him down, and he needs to hit that first time in my opinion. That could have been a chance that United could have capitalised on. Dogu does get a shot away in the 27th minute though. Manchester United move the ball through midfield swiftly and instinctively with both Højlund and Fernandes using one touch to eventually play it through for Garnacho. A promising attack then ends in disappointment on the far side after Dogu blazes his first time shot high over Edison's bar. Gundogan then has a shot at the end of the first half, but that was about it. In terms of the half-time summary, I think both sides were particularly poor going forward. Defensively though, both sides did look really well. When the opposition did have the ball, the opposing team would drop back into their defensive shape. For City, it was a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 out of possession. And then for United, of course, it was a 5-4-1 out of possession. And both sides were kind of nullifying each other, and they didn't want the opposing side to be playing through the middle. So both sides were trying to find space out wide, and there was space out wide for the likes of Dalot and Dogu, but unfortunately our final pass in the final third wasn't particularly good enough. And then for City, they weren't really troubling us in my opinion. I don't think City they weren't really troubling us in the final third at the end of the first half. Poor decision, but there were a couple of opportunities. There were a couple of opportunities on the counter for Manchester United, but there was poor decision making in the final third as per usual. Bruno Fernandes, of course, was the only player for either side, in my opinion, who had any quality to open up the opposition. So let's just take a look at the stats. So that's the starting lineup that Ruben Amorim did go for. I, of course, would have played Fernandes in a double pivot because I think the formation and the lineup that Ruben Amorim did go for, I think it was a little bit too defensive. Although we were planning to play on the counter attack and we did have a couple of opportunities on the counter, our final ball in the final third was lacking. So in terms of stats at half time, we'll just take a look at that. You can see here both sides had 4 shots. Both sides had 1 shot on target. City, of course, dominating their possession like they usually do, but I don't feel like as if City were that threatening with the ball that they had. It was all very in front of United, and Manchester United were very comfortable out of possession. United with the 38% possession, 82% pass accuracy. I think United need to be doing a little bit better there. But in terms of the first half, that was it really. Nothing much happened with either side. I think the second half was a little bit more lively. In terms of XG though, Manchester United did have higher XG in the first half. So yeah, in terms of the second half, Foden gets a chance in the 48th minute. O'Reilly plays a pass into the feet of Marmoush, whose clever touch takes it past Casemiro before poking the ball on for Foden. With the goal there to be shot at, the England international's first touch lets him down, inviting the pressure from the defenders before he lashes a desperate off-balance shot well wide from 8 yards. United do make a substitution. Maguire does go off for Lindelof. Maguire recently coming back from injury, so his minutes need to be managed. Man United do get a penalty shot in the 63rd minute, but I don't think it was really a penalty. The United, I think it's Højlund is offside, but Fernandes is forced to check back his run and deliver an inviting pass into the penalty area before down the left for Dogu, whose first time cross is blocked rather unorthodoxly by the sliding Diaz. The Manchester United players immediately appeal for a penalty with shouts of handball, but the well-placed referee waves away the claims. I don't think that was a penalty in my opinion. I think it came off Diaz's chest. So yeah, not a penalty in my opinion. Marmoush then gets a strike in the 69th minute. De Bruyne's outswinging free kick is initially met by Lindelof's glancing header, but the centre-back can only put it 20 yards from goal. Marmoush latches onto the bouncing ball and smashes a powerful volley that forces Onana into action, palming the ball away securely with two hands. Ugarte then flashes wide as well in the 71st minute. United are given a similar opportunity to that of their opponents moments ago. Casemiro's cross is cleared only as far as Ugarte. The lurking midfielder pops up 20 yards from goal and smashes a powerful half volley that gets through but fails to hit the target, unfortunately, whistling wide of the goalkeeper's left hand post. United do make some substitutions. Højlund and Ugarte do go off for Xerxes and Mount. Xerxes then has a shot in the 78th minute. Casemiro switches play out for Dogu, who interchanges with Garnacho before playing a cross towards the penalty area for Xerxes, who's on the penalty spot. The striker catches the ball from his first time effort perfectly and guides his shot towards the far post, but Ederson is able to push it away before Mount's follow-up chance is blocked from close range by Lewis. So Xerxes then has a chance in the 87th minute, but that was either saved or blocked, I don't remember. But apart from that, there wasn't really much for either side in terms of chances. I think that both sides lacked quality in the final third. In terms of who probably deserved to win the game, it was probably Manchester United, because we did edge on the XG, but apart from that, that was it really. Casemiro made 11 tackles in the match, the most by a Manchester United player in a Premier League game since Patrice Evra against Portsmouth in August 2008, which is a mad stat. But yeah, in terms of that, nothing else can be said. I think on FootMob here, Onana's got man of the match, so we'll just get into the player ratings just in a bit. But Man United were looking to complete their first Premier League double over Manchester City since the 2019-20 season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coaching, following the 2-1 win at the Etihad in December 2024. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But in my opinion, I think we probably, man of the match, of course, is probably going to be Bruno. But in terms of overall play, and if I was to choose a winner, I think Manchester United did edge it on the XG, but we'll get into that in just a moment. We'll get into player ratings just now. So Onana's got a 7.9 here. He's made 6 saves. In terms of his pass accuracy, I think he could have been done a little bit better. 14 out of 25 accurate passes, and then 4 out of 15 accurate long balls. I think he needs to be doing a little bit better, but he has got man of the match or player of the match on FootMob. Mazraoui, 87% pass accuracy, and in terms of his tackles, he's won 3 out of 4, 5 clearances, 2 headed, 2 interceptions, 12 defensive actions. Mazraoui was pretty solid in my opinion. 5 out of 6 duels won as well, so he's got a 7.6. Maguire, he's won 2 out of 3 of his duels, and then he's got 84% pass accuracy, which is all right. He only lasted 60 minutes, because he's just recently coming back from injury. Joron lasted the full 90 minutes. He's got 89% pass accuracy. Duels, he lost all of his duels, unfortunately. He needs to be doing a little bit better there. That's probably why he's got a 6.6 on FootMob. Diego Dallo, he won 5 out of 10 of his duels. I think he needs to be doing a little bit better in terms of his touches in the opposition box. 4, I think we need a new right wing back, to be honest. If Ahmad is going to be playing in the inside 10 positions next season, I do think that we need a new right wing back. I don't think that Diego Dallo is good enough to be playing this role, because you get a lot of space when you're playing 3 at the back. and the wing backs are really important, and Dalot gets in a lot of space, and I don't think he is particularly good in the final third, but accurate passes there, 34 out of 37, 92%, which is pretty decent. Casemiro, he won the most tackles of the match with 7. I think Casemiro played a decent part, cleaning up, and he was decent in my opinion. He's got a 7.9 rating here on FootMob, and pass accuracy 74%, could be doing a little bit better there, but you know, in terms of defensive actions, he was pretty good. Shots on target, 1 out of 1. Touches 61, touches in the opposition box 4, passes into final third 4 as well. Accurate long balls 2 out of 4, tackles 1, 7 out of 11, and then duels 13 out of 17 duels 1, which is really good for Casemiro. I think he had a decent game and he looked assured next to Ugarte, and then also at the end of the match Bruno Fernandes then dropped into the double pivot as well. So Casemiro coming good at the end of the season. Hopefully he can play a part in the Europa League as well, because he's got that European experience for when, you know, he's won like what, 5 Champions Leagues, so hopefully he can come good in the Europa League as well. Ugarte, I thought he was okay, could be doing a little bit better. Pass accuracy is only 77%, and in terms of his defensive actions, he's not got many here. Defensive actions 5, but in terms of his duels, he's won 3 out of 7. I think he needs to be doing a little bit better. Dogu, I felt like if he was a little bit poor, he was getting into some decent spaces down the left side, looking okay with Garnacho, but I'm looking for some quality in the final third, and I'm not seeing that from either Dalot or Dogu. And accurate passes 28 out of 31. Jules is 4 out of 8, which I think he needs to be doing a little bit better. Bruno Fernandes was he completed the most dribbles and he created the most chances as well. He was probably the best outfield player on the pitch. Obviously Edison and Onana did have to make a couple of good saves, but in terms of outfield players, he probably was he definitely was the best player on the pitch. And accurate passes 93%, and you know, usually we don't see that type of pass accuracy from the likes of Bruno Fernandes and number 10s. You know, usually it's in the 70s or 80s, but he's got 93% here, 3 chances created as well. And then passes into final third 5. Accurate crosses, he needs to be doing a little bit there, but he needs to be doing a lot better in my opinion. Only 1 out of 7. Accurate long balls though, 5 out of 5, which is decent. And then for his duels, he's won the majority of his duels with 8 out of 14. So he was probably man of the match in terms of the outfield players. I think he got man of the match on Sky Sports. I think Gary Neville gave it him as well. So Garnacho, he was okay. Again, I think he was wasteful on the counter attack, and there were some positions that he was getting into which I think he needs to be doing a lot better in the final third. And you know, 88% pass accuracy, and then duels, he's won 8 out of 13, which is decent. So he's won the majority of his duels. And then finally Højlund, I thought Højlund was poor. I don't remember him getting involved too much in the game, apart from one interchange that he had in the first half. He was dropping well back into some space in the midfield, whereby City centre-backs didn't know whether to go with him sometimes. But I think largely he was kept quiet by Diaz and Guardiol. He didn't really offer too much in terms of the final third. Touches in the opposition box, he's only got 1 here, and I want my striker to be getting touches in the opposition box. And I think United's forward line, there's to be lacking. I think we do require an entirely new forward line in the summer, but I don't think we're going to get that. In terms of duels, he's won 1 out of 4 as well. So yeah, that was it in terms of the starting 11. Substitutes, Lindelof came on for 32 minutes for Maguire. Decent pass accuracy there, 93, 14 out of 15. Jules 1, 2 out of 4. And then Mason Mount, he didn't really have too much to say in game, only 20 minutes. He had that one shot which was blocked. You know, that could have gone anywhere, but it was blocked. Accurate passes 7 out of 7, 100% pass accuracy. In terms of his duels, he only won 1 out of 5, which needs to be better there in my opinion. And finally Xerxes, he was okay when he came on, not really much to say, basically the same as Højlund. He had 2 shots. This one was on target, which required a save from Edison in the 77th minute, and then this one was blocked in the 87th minute as well. So yeah, in terms of his duels, he's won 1 out of 2, and yeah, that's about it really for the player ratings. In terms of overall, you know, I think we did edge it on the XG. If you have a look at the stats here, we've got a 0.92 XG compared to City's 0.49. We had more shots than City, but City did have more shots on target than us. Both sides had one big chance, and that one big chance was missed as well. Pass accuracy 84, City beating us on the pass accuracy as well. But of course, possession-wise, City are a little bit more dominant with 58%, Man United with the 42%, but that doesn't mean to say that we didn't have chances of our own. We were able to create chances with the possession that we had, and you can see here XG, we are basically higher in the XG than Man City. In terms of duels though, we did beat City with the duels. We won 56% of our ground duels compared to City's 37 with 44%. So yeah, overall, where does that leave us in the Premier League table? We are still in 13th position with 38 points, and Southampton have been relegated today, so you know, we're not going to get relegated, but it's just kind of disappointing with how the season is petering out, especially the Premier League season, petering out into nothingness. Yeah, neither side probably deserved to win the game, but if I had to say which side deserved to win the game, it was probably Manchester United. A little bit unfortunate that we aren't able to get the double over Manchester City this season. I think Man City in this match were there for the taking, but unfortunately in the final third, like I've said so much this season, we were lacking in the final third. We lack quality in the final third. The jury's out for me in terms of Garnacho, Højlund, Mount and Xerxes. I know they're young. I know Garnacho, Højlund and Xerxes are young. Mount is 26, I think. Yeah, but the jury's still out on them. I'm not sure if they are capable. I'm not sure if they're good enough to be playing for Manchester United. But yeah, in terms of that, that's all that can be said. Next up, we do have Lyon in the Europa League quarterfinal first leg, which is going to be a very, very important game because this is our only chance for Champions League football and a chance to win a trophy. Anyway, disappointing with the draw, but if you had offered it me before the match, I would have taken it. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.